We've got tips and recipes for healthy living. So for fun and inspiration, come and join us in the raw food world.
To translate it so my people could learn it too. And this movie is just marching the world and creating silent revolution. It's empowering women to learn the truth. What I am receiving as a feedback is that just by watching it, women snap off that mass hypnosis that they've been under for thousands of years, that they're incapable of a normal, simple act of procreation. You know, how weird does it get? Every cat knows how to give birth. It's not a mental activity to give birth. You don't have to knowingly know that you can give birth. Like you don't have to know how to pee. Giving birth is another form of elimination, really. And body really knows how to do that elimination thing. The only thing, we just need to get out of the way of that body. The only reason why women do not give birth naturally is because of the stress level. Well, except the very small percentage in different studies, that percentage varies between 2% and 5% of those women who really have some medical condition, like car injuries, sports injuries that damage their pelvic floor, or some forms of diabetes, or some actual serious medical conditions. The rest of the women really has the capacity to give birth. And what happens is that, again, nature created a very, very important and a protective mechanism. When the stress hormone hits the bloodstream, the cervix locks. So imagine that you're a deer in the bushes giving birth somewhere, and all of a sudden you hear a predator. You have a scent of a wolf or a lion. So you need to be able to run and not drop the baby that was already on the way. So the moment the laboring female senses the danger, she just locks. And then it takes enormous force to open it. It's locked. It's really locked. In the case of deer, if she happens to run away from predator, she finds a quiet spot. She starts munching on the grass, and everything gets quiet again, and within 40 minutes there is not a trace of stress hormone in her bloodstream. Oxytocins start pumping up, and she goes and opens up and lets the baby out. That's really what it takes to just relax again. But in case of a female woman, she gets in the hospital, and all the chaos of the hospital and all the unfamiliar people pushing her and pulling her and sticking something in her and measuring her and doing paperwork, and it's like she was trying to give birth there, and all of a sudden there is all this destruction. So her cervix just closes again. And instead of just letting her find a private dark space to just start focusing on birth and let the birthing field take over and open her up and let that baby out, they just start pumping induction medications and then painkillers and then this and that, and then when her hormones are completely confused, she ends up with C-section. In most of the world is now up to 80-90% C-section rates. In the third world countries, Brazil, Africa, to 90%. I was in South Africa last year. 95% C-section rate. White women who were trying to even start talking about giving birth naturally were cornered by the family, called perverts for such a ridiculous idea. Why would you want to give birth naturally? Go through all this ridiculous screaming if you can just, if we can just mechanically extract your baby's body out of your body. Somehow this mechanical extraction seems like a common sense thing to do. I was told that in Brazil, those underprivileged women who could not afford C-section, they tattoo scars on their bellies or even cut the skin to make it look like a scar, to make it look like they were privileged enough to have professional help.
And it's in your video, the people giving birth, it's like the most orgasmic experience possible. It's not something to be scared of. Yeah.
Yeah, it's by the way, anybody can watch the 10-minute trailer from my movie on my website, birthintobeing.com. In 10 minutes I put 4 orgasmic births when you see a woman literally going through waves of orgasm as she is opening up and letting that baby out. There is the whole baby in her vagina. That's supposed to be extremely, extremely amazing, beautiful experience because all her system is flooded with dopamines, with oxytocin, the same oxytocin that a woman experiences every time when she has an orgasm. And it's just, 100 times more when she gives birth. So it's a natural thing to experience that extreme pleasure during opening up. And the thing is, our social image of birth is very perverted. What we see on movies and in the TV shows and sitcom, we see all this screaming mimes, women cussing and bloody murder and screaming at their man and promising never have sex again. It's like it's the image is so distorted, and it's distorted even earlier. In sex ed in 7th grade, they showed the most gross, disgusting, repelling version of births that they possibly can find. It's just so bloody and so disturbing. The young girls, my daughter was telling me that when they were showing that footage in their sex ed class, half of the girls ran to the bathroom to puke. So they're being programmed on viewing childbirth as this pathological, disgusting, torturous experience. And then all the images in media are reinforcing that, when everybody is just going in crazy and into panic, and nobody knows what to do and which way is up, which way is out, and it robs women from the most important experience in their life. That's when a girl becomes a woman. That's when a maiden becomes the mother. That's why we have epidemic, just destroying our society, epidemic of postpartum depression, when a woman after giving birth, she has no idea who she is. She doesn't feel like a woman anymore. She's frustrated, she's sad, she's angry, she's exhausted. She feels like her life is over as a woman. She just thinks, oh, I'm just here to take care of this baby. Her sexuality is gone. Her relationship with her husband is just become so dry and so pragmatic, and all the joy is gone.
Thanks for for joining us. We'll see you again at the Raw Food World.